everybody. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, the host of Redefining Yourself. This program was developed for women that are thinking of leaving, needing more education, or have left and are recovering from domestic violence. My specific area of focus and interest is narcissist abuse. So I am a narcissist abuse recovery specialist. Hopefully I said that right. Narcissist abuse recovery specialist. Get tongue-tied. But I want to thank you for joining me on this channel. Thank you for all my new subscribers. Thank you for the emails and all the messages that you guys are leaving. I try to do my best to answer, but I do have a high volume of emails and a high volume of emails that are coming in, a whole lot of questions, and so sometimes I'm not going to be able to get to you guys, but I do appreciate you guys making the comments. I'm right here. I see your comments. I'm reading your comments, and thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you guys for the words of encouragement. Thank you guys for letting me know. My words of encouragement is when I know that you're getting something out of it and that something that I've said has helped you in your process. Even though this program may have been developed with women in mind, I never leave out the fact that men go through the same thing that women go through. And I think not most, but all of you gentlemen, and some people put crazy comments on there, but I thank all of you gentlemen that have joined us, the kings that have joined us on this YouTube channel, that have provided support, that have provided feedback to give us an idea of what you guys have been through as men with a female narcissist. It gives us a different perspective because narcissists all have the same traits, the same behaviors. They're different people, but they do the exact same thing. So all of us can relate to our stories because everybody tends to flow into another person's situation. It's like, oh my gosh, did you know this individual? But these narcissists are narcissists. Male, female, doesn't matter. Race, ethnicity, religion, doesn't matter. They're narcissists. And thank you guys so much, you gentlemen, you kings that have shared your stories, that have said, gave us a different perspective on even what you guys went through, because most people don't assume that men can go through domestic violence. And for some men, it may not be a physical attack, but some of the things that women do, narcissists do, the female narcissists do, is very vicious, and they will use their femininity against men to attack, to manipulate, and to commit the domestic violence and the violence that goes along with it psychologically. And so if you have not already, give me a minute, let me turn off this heater. So if you have not already, please take the opportunity to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the bell so you can see whenever I post videos. You're also welcome to go to my my Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services, and hit the thumbs up. And I do post videos on both channels, or Facebook and YouTube. And on YouTube, I am Dr. Carmen Bryant with a T, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. And I want to thank you guys for following me. Thank you guys for emailing me. Thank you guys for the comments. And so today I have to get out of here, so I might not be able to stay on that long, but I do want to come in. Today is Friday. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back with you on Sunday between 8 and 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. This is West Coast, okay? And so I wanted to come on this evening before I left out of the office, and I just wanted to talk about psychological torment and the mental abuse that is inflicted on victims and survivors, the victims and the survivors of narcissist abuse. As you know, the narcissist has a toolbox of weapons and tools that they use. They have a lot of tools and weapons in their arsenal of weapons against you, mentally, physically. But psychological torment is what they do to you mentally and emotionally, and how it affects you. Because what happens in your head can also affect your body, as we learned the other day. In the world of the clinical world and in the medical field, a lot of times certain symptoms that are diagnosed are actually mental health symptoms and not physical symptoms. And some mental health symptoms manifest in physical symptoms. And so a lot of times doctors may do all these tests and they can't find anything wrong, so they say it's a somatic disorder. And most people like, so you're trying to say it's all in my head? Well, it's not the fact that it's all in your head, because it sounds kind of offensive when it's said that way. But what happens is, if you have enough psychological stress, if you have enough mental health or stress, issues going on, it can physically manifest in your body as if something is wrong. In the medical profession, in the medical field, they may not be able to find anything wrong with you physically. So they'll normally refer you over to a psychologist. And what is the common thing that most people say? I'm not crazy, I know this is real. That's because of the fact that the mental anguish, the stress, and especially if you have been in an abusive relationship, especially with a narcissist, that anguish, that torment can be so powerful that it will manifest in your body as physical pain, and actually is emotional pain, which most people don't want to address. They usually want to go to the doctor, give me medication, tell me what's wrong. They don't normally want to come and talk to a therapist because the stigma behind I'm not crazy or something is wrong. Actually, is medical and mental health fall hand in hand like this. So those of you in the medical field, those of you in the mental health field, you know medical and mental health fall in hand. And so let's talk about mental torment or psychological, let me scroll up, y'all. It's a long page. Psychological torture. So first of all, let's look at some of the tools in the narcissist toolbox. And I'm on Miss Savannah Gray, the freelance writer, who's a hypnotherapist, sports fanatic, philosopher. She has a degree in psychology and is a founder of Esteemology. So I am on her site, Esteemology, and is dedicated to educating and healing survivors of abusive relationship. And she talks about some of the tools in crazy making. So crazy making, gaslighting falls hand in hand. So I'm just going to go briefly over some of the tools in their toolbox, okay? And then we'll move on to more serious things, okay? As if this is not serious. One of the greatest tools in their toolbox, and this is the foundation for the narcissist, is lying. You know, most of them are compulsive liars. They live their life in a facade. They live their life living a fantasy. They live their life, especially if they're trying to attain supply, or the way that they love bomb you, or the future faking, all lies. You know, this illusion of perfection, all lies. They live their life in a lie. Next thing, projection. That's another tool. So projection, meaning that if you shine a spotlight on them and you hold them accountable for something, you know, they feel shame, they feel embarrassed, but they will project and focus on you. So you bring up, and her example here was, where were you at last night? Where was I at last night? Where were you at last night? I called you and you wouldn't pick up the phone. What they do is they divert your attention because they could be found out. So they'll divert your attention to yourself. Everything goes back to you, and then the whole argument becomes you, and you never resolve the issue because the issue was probably them. So the projection part, they'll project, and a lot of times they will accuse you in the projection. They'll accuse you of exactly what they are doing. Triangulation. A narcissist loves triangulation. It provides them with much fuel. I believe partial example was, and I'll add to that is, you know, say you and your boo are at a bar or at a restaurant, but you notice that he or she is continuously staring at someone, trying to get someone's attention, and you recognize these behaviors because that's how they got you. You know, but you recognize these behavior is awkward. They're trying to get someone's attention. You know, they're making the sexy eye, or, you know, all these little comments and everything. And so what fuels them is the fact that you get mad, that you may get up and go confront the person, or you have an attitude, but that's fuel to them. So even that negative energy, that's fuel to them. So they're triangulating, you know, and you're staring at him or her, or you're staring at him, and he's like, what are you talking about? You know, why are you making those eyes? Oh, I can't just look. You know, what's wrong with my eyes? See, they're doing it again. It's that crazy making, you know. It's that crazy making, you know. So, I mean, I have eyes. It's not like I'm dead. I can see, you know, but you know that it is beyond the boundaries and it's gone too far. But they'll make you feel like you're crazy. Gaslighting, that's the crazy making right there. They'll make you feel like something is wrong. They'll literally have you feeling like or thinking that you are crazy. That the things that you see, you'll question your own reality, you'll question your own judgment, but they will spend so much time in making you feel like you're crazy or what you're saying makes no sense, and everybody thinks this way, so I don't understand why you don't think this way, and that's just a normal, you know, an average person, a normal, healthy individual thinks this way. Well, they're not normal, healthy individuals, so how can they judge a normal, healthy individual? What are they weighing that with? Because they can't weigh it with themselves, you know, because they're abnormal and unhealthy. Let's see, what's the next thing? Okay, so we got the tools. You got those tools that are in the toolbox, okay? The next thing, let's go. Some more tools that are in the toolbox, and this is the Narcissist Life. I've read off of this before, and I don't know who the author is on this one, but there were some things that I wanted to mention on here to let you guys. I'm going to move the camera a little bit so I can see the screen, okay? Here we go. So Let's talk about some of these behaviors, some of the tools that they use, some of the emotional abusive behaviors. Withholding love and affection, empathy and intimacy. And remember, if you go back to my love bombing video, I talk about some of the ways that they actually, what they do to love bomb. This is some of the things that they do when they're love bombing you and trying to connect you and lock you in. Withholding is a punishment. Withholding love and affection, empathy and intimacy, especially if that's something that you express that, that's something that you really like, that you want, and that's something that you fed them fuel with, they'll withhold that. Countering, when their partner expresses a thought, like you may express a thought, and then the abuser immediately counteracts that thought. And counter views, they'll implement their views before you even get a chance to finish your statement. The sky is blue. No, it's not blue. It's a different hue. And if you look at it, it's got green tones and yellow stars and pink hearts and green moons and yellow diamonds, and you're like, what are you talking about? No, the sky is blue scientifically. See, you don't know what you're talking about. See, you're confused. You see, so they'll discount, they'll counter everything that you say. Anything that you say, they'll make sure they say something opposite of what you say. Discounting. When the narcissist discounts your views or your thoughts, it's really irrelevant what you think, because what they say, your ideas are insignificant. Your thoughts, your dreams is incorrect and insignificant and stupid. But everything that they have to say, they'll discount what you have to say, or discount even a memory of the abuse itself, and then implement what they think and what they think is correct. They're never wrong. So they're never wrong. They can never be wrong. They block and divert. And this is when you may want to have a discussion about something. You have certain concerns. It's on the site. You have certain concerns, but the narcissist will change the topic. So you'll never get, because they'll change the topic to prevent any discussion of that topic. Accusing and blaming. This is when the narcissist will blame you or of an offense, accuse you of offense, or blame you of something. Knowing that you are innocent. But the tactic serves the purpose of putting the partner on a defensive rather than seeing clearly the behavior of the abuser. So you're confused, so you're not really looking at but it still supplies them with fuel because you got agitated now, or you got angry. Judging and criticizing. This serves to weaken the partner's self-esteem and increases they're looking to the abuser for validation. And so if they tear you down and criticize you, you always want to be validated by the abuser. And so they use this as a tool because no one else's opinion matters about you but the abuser. And so they will criticize you and judge you about how you look, how your hair looks, how your makeup look. And that's not, they'll tell you that never put makeup on before, or whatever, or a woman judging a man, never been a man before, but telling you how to be a man, can't tell you how to be a man because they've never been a man before. Now, I know in this time and age, people can change over, but to be born genetically a man and know how it feels to be a man genetically, a woman can't tell you how to do that, So let's see. Trivializing is when they minimize something that's very important to you. Even if the abuse, you broke my eye socket, you did this, you tore a hole, you did. So they minimize to make it seem like it wasn't even that important, that relevant. And that's they undermine, let's see, it says undermining is when the partner does something positive. So like you may have graduated with a certificate, you graduated, you got a degree, you've got a new job, hey, I got us this car. And what they do is they'll undermine and make you feel bad about it. The abuser will threaten and tries to stop the partner. It may be overt command, or it may be trying to subtly convince the partner why it's a bad idea. So undermining something positive. Okay, so let me retract that. It's not something that you've accomplished, but something you may be wanting to pursue. Say you want to pursue a college degree. This is what you want to do. You've got a plan together, and they'll undermine your thoughts, and you've done your study, your research, and they'll undermine everything that you say because it wasn't their idea. Threatening. This includes, leaving the relationship, threatening to kill you, threatening to hurt you and the kids, threatening to stop support, any kind of threat. Take the car so you can't get away. So threats. And let's see. Forgetting. You're talking about the abuse, but they can't recall the details of the abuse. They don't know what you're talking about. I don't recall that. I don't remember that. Ordering. So this is when the narcissist is treating you like a child. You're a grown woman or a man, and they handle you like you're a child, like they're talking to a kid, and order you and tell you what to do, or they deny your independence. You can't be independent and think for yourself. You have to rely on me to think for you. I didn't tell you to think that way. That's not what I told you. Where'd you get that idea from? Let's see, denial. So that's similar to discounting. And a lot of times the abuser or the narcissist will outright deny anything that you're saying. And you know it could have happened 2 minutes ago, but they deny anything. Some of you guys have been through court proceedings where you're telling the lawyer or the judge that he or she has been abusive to my kids, have been abusive to me. And what they'll do is they'll counteract and deny everything. I have no recollection of what she's talking about. I've never abused her, him, or the child. I've never done that. I didn't key her car. I never did that. I don't know. She's crazy. I told you she has psychological problem. He's got psychological problems. Let's see what else. Abusive behavior. So the rage. That was another one. The narcissist rage. They'll use that as a tool as well. Okay, now next. And the final list. And this is, okay, so the first one, okay, got it. So this is on the riches. This article is written by Amanda Catherine in 2016, and the title is 15 Most Shocking Forms of Psychological Torture Used on Humans. I'm not going to read all of them because all of them may not apply, and how I can kind of show you what a narcissist has done or is doing to you. But some of these, the psychological torture that they use is what they used on you. And so it does go in here. So if you want to go to the website, it is theriches.com, Amanda Catherine. And the article was written on August 17, 2016 in Most Shocking. But I'm not going to read the history of torture because it was used in medieval times. It was used in CIA investigation and interrogations. And so I'm just going to go down the list from hopefully it's just, you know, not from bad to worse, but from bad to worser. And that's not a word. But blackmailing. So what they'll do is they'll blackmail you, like say you threaten to leave. They may blackmail to tell all the secrets that you have, certain things that you've discussed with them in private, certain things you may have discussed in confidence with that individual, but they will threaten to expose you. They'll threaten to blackmail you, put your business out there, ruin your career, anything. It's a crime, and they'll blackmail you, tell secret information to someone unless the person is being threatened gives a blackmailer what they want. So unless you give them what they want, they'll blackmail you. Excuse me. Another one was long periods of interrogation. So now this is where the interrogation, they use the term interrogation. Let's use, you know, when they try to talk you into changing your mind or changing your opinion. They'll do things very similar to interrogations where they'll, the goal is to make you talk and tell them something. The goal is to change your mind, and this is not a part of that, to change your mind about something. If you've disagreed with them, they want you to agree with them, so they will talk. And the next one right behind that was sleep deprivation, but they will try to, you know, in the interrogation, the long interrogations, their whole goal is to get you to change how you think, or to make you talk about something or tell them something that they want to know. Let's see. They'll do it for long periods of time, and then that integrates into sleep deprivation. And so it's like they interrogate you, and the tool that they'll use in there, or another form of torture that they use, is sleep deprivation. And so in order to force you to change your mind about something, to agree with them, or even to apologize for something that you didn't do, they'll even deprive you of sleep. They refuse to let you sleep. They'll turn the light on, they'll pull the blanket, they'll turn the light back on, they'll talk to you, they'll turn the radio up, they'll keep on asking you the same question. Say, what did I just ask you? Answer the question. Say. And let's see, here it says that even to a point where people will be so sleep deprived that they'll start having hallucinations, and what they said on here was that sleep deprivation is a debilitating form of psychological torture because it attacks the deep biological functions. The core of a person's mental and physical health is dependent on them getting proper amounts of sleep. That's why a lot of you that have come out of these relationships have sleep problems. You can't fall asleep, and a lot of you have health issues. And one of the biggest things is restore your sleep, because in your sleep, your body is capable of regenerating itself because the body is resting. And so they will deprive you of sleep just to torment you or torture you to get what they want out of you. Without sleep, it can be far more damaging and painful than any physical torture if it's pushed to the extremes. And some of the signs of sleep deprivation is fatigue, irritability, and difficulties concentrating. Let's see. As it gets worse and prolonged, you'll notice that there'll be problems with reading, speaking clearly, poor judgment, lower body temperature, and increased appetites that victims often suffer further as their torturers push them. Gaslighting, we talked about the gaslighting. That's a form of psychological abuse where the victim is manipulated into doubting their own memories, perceptions, and sanity. It's the crazy making. Let's see. Even if they're not fully, it says sociopaths and narcissists. Even if they're not fully aware of what they're doing or not, whether they are or not, they often, what it says here, they'll consistently deny wrongdoing, even if it's a point where others are victimized by those individuals, and they'll make you make them doubt their own perceptions. So they'll make you doubt your own perceptions, a lot of you come out and you can't even make decisions anymore. You've been gaslighted so much that you don't trust your own decisions, you don't trust your own judgment, you don't know how to judge people. Another one is solitary confinement. Now this is oftentimes, this is a form of psychological torture used for centuries and is known for bringing on madness, and is still used today in most prisons. That's what I was going to say, in prisons. The thing about like the solitary confinement is that some narcissists will actually confine you to the house or confine you and block you in a room. I had this young lady tell me that anytime the narcissist wanted her to change her mind, or she got mad at him or threatened to leave, he would take her in the small bathroom, and the weather outside may have been like 100 and something degrees, which is like the summertime, and he would push her into the small bathroom where they had like the heating units. You could turn it on and turn the heat on in the bathroom, but it was a small bathroom, and he would purposely turn on the heating unit and standing there with her and keep asking her questions, stand really, really close, so that she would start sweating. They were both sweating in there to a point where she was about to pass out. But they will confine you, and then also take away your ability to communicate or make contact with other people around you. It gets to a point where you begin feeling depression, anxiety. You begin talking to yourself because you're lonely. You want someone else to talk to. That it even gives them an opportunity to make you totally depend on everything that they say and everything. You become totally dependent on the abuser. I think that was the one that we were talking about. It's called the, I'll think of the name later. But this is a part of the trauma bonding as well. So let's see. This one right here, I'll skip over this one because this one's not really relevant for me. I mean, it's relevant, but it's not relevant for me to talk about in what the narcissists do. Let's see. We're not going to worry about that. The no-touch torture, or like shock in the sensory, is called, let's see where it's at. It's called shock in the sensories. Where is it at? It's here somewhere. So shock in the sensories, the sensories, doing things like forcing you to watch like sexually disturbing tailored pornography, personal and spiritual defamation, used for psychological intimidation, electric shocks, fear and terror, dietary manipulation, but they will force you. It messes with all your sensories, so it overloads the sensories. It actually like almost causes shock, but it causes, that's what the shock, the post-traumatic stress. That's how it happens. That's just one of the ways it happens. Okay, let's see. The threat of permanent or severe disfigurement. So they'll threaten to hurt you, injure you, and they will use words to describe and create a picture in your head. Remember I was talking about the words, but they'll use words to describe and to give you a description of all the things that they will do or have done. Even to a point where, I think one young lady said that the gentleman killed her dog. So they'll do things to force you to be intimidated or to force fear, to use fear as a tool, as a weapon. But constant threat of physical torture can have a long-term, permanent, or prolonged mental harm. That's why many people will leaving the relationship have like post-traumatic stress, complex post-traumatic stress. And often this type of torture, the violence is incremental by nature, and injuries are not visible because it's here and here. and which causes the victims to downplay its traumatic effects. So you're adjusting. Remember the frog in the pot? You're adjusting before it's too late. You know, you have lost your mind. You have emotionally just out of whack. Post-traumatic stress, you know, flashbacks. So let's see, shaming. A lot of narcissists will use public shaming, which is a type of manipulation and psychological torture. For example, taking pictures of you naked without you knowing. Those of you that, you know, like to record your sexual escapades with that intimate partner, you know, that's where that blackmailing come. They'll bully you or blackmail you, or that cyberbullying where they bully children, cyberbully like the teenagers do, like on websites. But they'll do, or they get in public and they'll talk really loud, humiliating. They really humiliate you or embarrass you in public. They say things to you that make you feel like you're stupid. They'll say things to you to make you feel like you're stupid, you know, in public and out loud, screaming at you where you're just totally humiliated and ashamed. Let's see. A lot of the time, the victims end up leaving the area or living with great amount of shame and sorrow. Let's see here. Music torture. Remember I was saying about the solitary confinement, or when they like confine you and won't let you go? Sometimes they will also use music to torture you, or they get in a car and they're arguing with you in the car, and what they'll do is they'll increase the speed and drive erratically, and like, you know what, if you don't do this or if you leave me, I'll kill us both. And the way that they're driving all erratic, and then they turn the volume of the music up so loud so that you have no choice but to agree with them, or fine, okay, just get me out of here, or you know. But it can be used as a form of torture. Let's see, loud music. Let's see, certain types of music that say certain types of things. But this right here, so you know, some music can relax you. So you know, some people like to listen to like not opera, but jazz, or like classical music to calm them down. You know, classical music is used if you have an infant child. If you play a lot of classical music, it helps the mind when it comes to mathematics. It helps with mathematics. So if you guys have infant children, begin to introduce classical music because it helps with mathematics. But it can also be used as torture. Music at such extremely loud volumes creates a vibration which travels deep within a person's bones and violates their well-being. Music torture has been used in totalitarian regimes throughout the 20th century, and then vary in other contexts from Middle Ages until now. So let's see. Exploitation of phobias is often used by torturers who know that their victims are able to make the detainee reveal their fears. So you would be the detainee, or you would be the tormented. Torturers will devise specific situations that are specifically horrific for the individual and are designed to play on certain phobias. Those of you that have fears of spiders, snakes, heights, let's think, what else? Roaches, anything that will incite your phobia, your fears, even heights, you know. Rather than deal with the traumatic fear which is right before them, individuals often mentally shut down, and their heads fall into a daze. Phobias upon which torturers can prey upon include anything from the fear of heights to the sight of blood. So this method was another form of torture. Another favorite of the CIA was often at the Guantanamo Bay, and eventually spread to U.S. detention facilities in Afghanistan and Iraq. So that is all of the torture techniques here. So some of you may have been triggered. So I just want you to think for a minute, and I want to just give you, want you to relax for a minute before I get off. Some of you may have been triggered because some of you may have went through this type of trauma. Some of you have probably went through some of the brutalities of what a narcissist can do, and you probably have never told anybody. You probably have never disclosed this information to anybody. It's been a secret, and you've been ashamed, men included. You know, men included. Some men have been tortured like this as well. First of all, do understand that you're not in the situation right now. If you are in that situation, what I'm asking you to do is begin to make plans in your head. If you don't have a way to reach out, if you have a cell phone, any kind of way to reach out with someone, even if you write on a piece of paper, help, anything. For those of you that were triggered and have went through this, what I'm asking you to do is, first of all, just calm down and think for a minute. You're not in that situation right now. You're not in that situation, okay? You've escaped from that situation. You're my hero. And those of you that may be in a situation very similar like that, and you have the opportunity to leave, this is part of trauma bonding. If you do have the opportunity to leave, this is not normal behavior. This is not normal behavior. And I want you to get out of there if you can. Get your children, get to a police department, get to a shelter, get to a domestic violence advocate, get out of there. Call 911, whatever you have to do. Your material possessions are not that relevant, but your life is valuable. Those of you that may have been triggered when I was talking about this, first of all, my condolences to you that you had to go through something so horrific. I know some of you have gone through some things that were this horrific, and I need you guys to find a good counselor to work with your grief and loss, a person that understands domestic violence. And if you can find someone, because this is getting out of there, that if you find someone, ask them if they understand narcissist abuse, and then ask them if they ever dealt with people that have been tortured, people that have worked with those that have been in the sex slave industry, those that have been trafficked. Find someone that have dealt with very traumatic events like this, because they probably have had experience with narcissists, but they may not realize what they were dealing with. But you shop around for a therapist, because you got to get this under control. Now, for some of you may not believe in medications, but for the time being, while you're healing, medications may help you deal with the anxiety, the sleep problems, the depression, and get yourself active. Find a gym to join. That weight that you wanted to lose, let's start making goals to lose weight. Let's start making goals to eat right. Some of you guys, look at some channels on relaxation, doing things to relax you. Go and look out over the water. Do something for yourself. Do something nice. Go get your hair done. Go get and men, you can go get you can get pedicures too. Don't be afraid to get pedicures. That doesn't make you less than manly. Nobody wants a man walking around the house tearing up someone's carpet. Go and get a pedicure, get a manicure. Walk around the mall, unless you don't like being in crowds. But walk around the mall. Find some place that's nice to walk around the water. A trail to walk around. Well, take your dog out for a walk. Get a bicycle. Do something. Join the YMCA. Play racquetball. Play wall ball. Find something to do to relax yourself, because this kind of stuff is horrific. And some people have been through this type of torment and this type of trauma. This is psychological trauma, and these are all a part of the arsenals that narcissists will use. This is domestic violence, and we got to make sure we educate people. We got to let people know that this is real, and what you went through is real. There's shame behind it. People are not going to believe you. You need to tell someone and feel the relief on your chest. If you tell a family member, you tell your mom, your dad, a sister, someone that's close, let me tell you my story. Let me tell you what I went through. Now, keep in mind, they're not your therapist, so I'd be careful at all the overload. Some people can't handle that, and they can experience vicarious trauma, meaning secondary trauma from the stories that you're telling, because their minds can't handle it. Find someone that you can talk to, but really what you need to do is find a good therapist, okay? So if you guys were triggered, I just want you to relax after this video. If in between this that you couldn't handle it, if you can cut it off, go listen to some music. Go get you some, Wake Me Up Before You Go, Wham, whatever, old school music, 80s music. But go stare at the fish tank, find something to distract your mind. Listen to music. Go watch a love show, a love movie, or go find some comedy. Get a good laugh. Listen to some comedy, okay, on a comedy channel or something. So hopefully this has helped. Some of you guys have been through this type of torment. I already know I'm going to get a bunch of emails and a bunch of comments. Just let you know that I may not be able to answer all the emails, because I have so many coming in. I have a high volume of emails, So if I don't get to you, do know that I did see your comments. I am reading the comments, okay? I am reading the emails. And thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much for allowing me to give you this information. I wanted to bring this out. I wanted you to know that there's somebody that knows. There's somebody that believes you. And I'm validating your experiences, because they were real. I don't care who doesn't believe you. I believe you, okay? So if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. It is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse. Hit the bell so that you can see whenever I post a new video. You can also go to my professional Facebook page, which is Psychological Health Consultants and Services. Hit the thumbs up, and I will post the videos on both sides. Sometimes I can only come. I'm not sure if I'll be able to come on both channels this Sunday. It depends on the internet connection in our area. I may be able to come on YouTube. Well, I definitely will come on YouTube. So I will post. You know, if I can't go on live on Facebook, then I'm gonna just redirect everybody back over there to YouTube. And it was a wonderful turnout. Thank you guys for joining me. I'll be back on Sunday between 8 and 9 Pacific Standard Time, which is West Coast. In America, West Coast. So hopefully you guys are able to join me. I do have obligations, so I usually come in the door right before I come and broadcast. But thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for being here with me, and thank you for trusting me for the things that I have to say to help you in your process of healing. And as my friend always says, go and be great, and I really mean that.